Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I've seen this kind of titles like this one right here many times where they say, that Russia tries to adopt illegally a lot of Ukrainian children, and that's an act of genocide. This comes from the New Voice of Ukraine, by the way. Now, why did I think, and I think that this little title or the proposition is kind of like idiotic. All right, you have the Russians, you have the Ukrainians. They don't like one another, correct? Now, more than that, they hate one another because of the war. And because the Russians said, well, you guys are on those guys' pockets and we have to fight you and blah, 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 eliminate the threat of your military might. The Ukrainians said, no, you attacked us, you will kill us, you're criminals, you whatever. Okay, whatever that might be. They don't want to be with one another. They want to be separate. They don't like one another. Now, if you have an enemy, right, and let's say you destroyed the enemy's adult population, and you have the children, or some adult population, you have some children of those guys. You hate those guys, would you just adopt the kids or let them die? I mean, you as a bad person, as the Russians are portrayed to be, why would they want to save the next generation of those guys? Why do I want to raise the next generation of the guys that I know that once I raise them, they will understand at one point what happened and they will kill me in sleep? They will put a pillow over my head when I cannot react. What do you think? So first, I'm doing myself a disservice by helping my enemy's children, which, by the way, as bad as these guys are portrayed, should hate, So they save them, otherwise you let them die. Or what, send them to the Ukrainians or something? I don't even know the context. They tell you the context, these guys took over and just snatched the kids out of the Ukrainian mom's arms. I don't think that occurs. I don't believe that little narrative. I think these guys are orphans. They don't find the adult next in kin, let's put it this way, at this point, and some of them are orphans. What are they supposed to do? Let them die? Which one is worse? And probably with time, give it back? I don't know. But do you think that someone who hates another people would raise their children like a cuckoo bird? Only in the United States these guys are idiots with their adoptions. They raise other people's trabalap, and then those guys will look in the mirror and say, wait a minute, this and we don't I'm a Ukrainian, this guy is Russian. I switched, okay? I'm Ukrainian, this is Russian. And then do you think that they will be so brainwashed not to know at one point all this information, what happened with my parents? What do you think is going to be the next step? Get a drawer, get a knife, and take care of shit. I mean, you're gonna love the killer of your parents? I don't think so. So that's why I think it's idiotic. These guys, the Russians, would have no reason to raise their enemies' children so they can kill them later, realizing that, hey, actually your nation, quote unquote, whatever, is the killer of my nation. I mean, this is so idiotic. Neither sides want that. You say, well, they will never find out. I mean, you give me the justification why the Russians would want that. You raise someone who's going to strangle you when is going to find out. And he's going to find out. Unless you think that, the Russians will be so good and going to brainwash these guys that the kids, when they grow, they will never find out. Or maybe they were. And when they're going to find out, let's say the parents are not around. What do you think will do to the Russian society? Do you think they will say, well, thank you very much for saving my life? That actually you bombed and then you abducted me? Please, my friends, let's don't be idiots. People will realize, children, when they grow, they will realize, I am not this guy, and these guys did that to my family. How do you think it's gonna... So, if he's not gonna realize that, what's the problem? Oh, we're gonna crucify them. My friends, in the age of right now, of information, do you think they will not find out what happened coming from the New Voice of Ukraine at that time, or whomever else? Please, so that's idiotic, but let's go and see this article nevertheless. Nearly 400 Ukrainian children have been or are in the process of being illegally adopted in Russia, said Dmitro Lubinets. I have a little gut feeling about Lubinets, but hey, I don't know. The Ukrainian Parliamentary Commissioner for Human Rights during the nationwide United News telethon. We have confirmed 383 children. It is a proven fact that they have been placed in Russian families and either the adoption process has begun or has been completed. Well, what do you want? Just let them die? Or do what you want them to do? Hey, you know what, Ukrainians, here are your children, take them back. And do what? What are you going to do with that? Sell them? Sell their organs? What are you going to do with those children? What are in a war in Ukraine, what are the options? What do you think is going to be the, I don't know, the situation over there? Refugees? What are they going to do with that, with the children? In a state of war. First, the Ukrainian state is bankrupt. The fact that the Ukrainian government still functions and pays salaries, governmental salaries and so on, they are because we have to give them money because those idiots that we voted for or not give them without our consent. They didn't even give a shit. So what would be the life prospect for a child being in Ukraine? Is going to end up as a refugee someone? Or someone is going to be reunited with a family? I'm all for that. Under what kind of terms? As I said, I don't think the Russians went and at gunpoint they took the, how do you call it, the children, snatched the children out of their mom's hands. Why? Because we need a guy that's going to hate us later and kill us and do all kind of crazy stuff in our country. The people that we actually supposedly we hate. Why they say supposedly? Because, you know, right now things are so pushed to the extreme that these guys are all bad. They have no humanity in them. That's how they're portrayed. And the other guys are all good and they all saints, never did anything. Which, you know, it's impossible. Unless you talk about, I don't know, Jesus Christ or someone. So, someone like that. Can we have two of those? Well, we have them in different religions somehow. Anyway, my friends, I think, and again, illegally adopted. Okay, I think it's better than being sold, you know, in human trafficking and organs and other awful stuff. But what do I know? I wouldn't. I would not adopt someone else's child that I hate. Let's put it this way, or that person will hate me when that person grows. Why would I do that? It's bad. Where is the good thing here? I mean, you shoot yourself in the foot by doing something you think good, because those guys who adopt are not guys who are gonna just adopt the children to turn them into slaves or something. They adopt them as children, right? As their own. So they have, I would say, a big heart. I can't speak for each and every case and everybody else, but still, you don't adopt them to, unless again, very bad, all bad, very good, all good, which, you know. All right, well, all I care is the children to have a good environment. And if this is temporarily done, and the kids will be reunited with families, if they have families in Ukraine, after all this bullshit ends in Ukraine, that's the best option under the circumstances. Until then, what do you want them to do? Go to a, I know how those guys are, how children are kept in this kind of organizations and institutions by themselves and how they're fed and abused. And no, that's not I worked with these kind of things, and you don't want to be in a, I don't want to call it forced foster home or something like that, especially with people that don't have the resources. I am very familiar with the situation, and you don't have resources, what do you think you're going to do? The kids will not have the resources, and then they're going to be hurt. So give them to the Ukrainians that don't have money or anything like that, and then what's going to happen with the children? Live in poverty, and then we have what we say here, everything is because of poverty. Crime is because of poverty, this is because of poverty. Yeah, all right, like all where we have a poor person is already a criminal or something. That's what these guys tell you. Oh, in that neighborhood is because of poverty, that's crime. Well, because I think the rule of law is not upheld over there and is not enforced more than in other areas. No, it's a poverty. Because that's an insult to poor people. And we are all poor compared with others. I mean, compare yourself or myself, let's say, with Bill Gates. I'm a freaking poor guy. Am I a criminal? That means that if I commit a crime, it's because I'm poor, guys. Oh, okay, I mean, proceed. So I want for the kids the best under the circumstances. And what are the circumstances? Send them to Ukraine. To where? To whom? In the hands of whom? And the other guys are doing something that they will see it later. Maybe it is a temporary thing. I'm okay with that, but not a finite adoption. And then what's going to happen? The kid's going to grow and say, hey, I'm a Ukrainian, you're Russians. Okay, well, what's over there? Boom. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.